Recognize the gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Murphy, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank you guys for coming out and everybody for for participating today. The lunch was pretty doggone good. I come from Eastern North Carolina, barbecue-wise, so we'll have a little bit of a contest there, but it was pretty doggone good. We're driving up here in this big bus, and there are police following us, and I can only imagine what people on the road were thinking. They're thinking either one, well, it's a bunch of members of Congress or it's a bunch of criminals being escorted by the police. And I'm starting to wonder if it isn't a little bit of each. Because I think that's what the American public feels Congress is like, a bunch of criminals. And I'm here to say, and I think you guys have seen this, we have some people that really give a damn. And both Republican and Democrat. I really mean that. Some folks that really, really care. Sadly enough, some of the philosophies are absolutely divergent because individuals don't come out and see how the rest of their world lives. I come from Eastern North Carolina. It's flat. We don't have these kind of hills, but we have water. We have pine forests. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. And so I understand the pressures you guys are facing now with interest rates, a declining home industry, and the pressures you have to get rid of your product. You know, as my colleague, Mr. Smucker, said, you know, so much of the spending has gone into, we're self-inflicted crisis one after another. We knew coming out of the pandemic there was going to be pent-up demand, there was going to be decreased supply because people were locked out of their jobs. But when you add fuel to the fire, you destroy the fabric of America. And that's what you guys are facing. I understand that, and I'm sorry for that. I will tell you, at the way interest rates are going now, they just raised it a little bit. They're not going to change anytime soon because we haven't gotten the fire under control. I look at what happened in our forestry industry, which is the same here. We're trying to export wood chips, but the real world is going against that and pushed by this, the climate stuff. Second is, you know, I look at our fishing industry. That's a big deal for us in Eastern North Carolina. Fuel prices have gone through the roof. The administration just attacks with rules and regulations. Now they want to put in a rule that no ship above 35 feet will be able to go more than 10 miles an hour. Try going 10 miles an hour on your road. See how long it takes you to get anywhere. So you won't be able to fish, and we take the vast majority of our seafood from overseas anyway. One thing, I'm a physician by trade, and I look at the workforce, and I understand that this is one of the epicenters of the opioid epidemic. So I wonder if each of you could tell me a little bit about that, which, by the way, we had in 21, 120,000 people die, 107,000 people die from opioid epidemics, from the opioid epidemic. It's going to be easily over 120 this year. So those are people that could come and work in your workforce, but cannot. I will also say, just one aside before I answer the question, one of the reasons you're having problems finding people to work is President Biden has continued the public health emergency, which in my medical opinion should have stopped a year ago. What is the result of that? 18 million people nationwide are now receiving Medicaid benefits who are not eligible. So those individuals are sitting home catching a check that are not eligible under federal law, and they're keeping out of your workforce. So think about that. All those individuals, and then when I hear the 55% participation rate here in West Virginia, it just kills me. I'm surprised you can even stay afloat. And so if you can, tell me a little bit of story, just as you can. You got about a minute. If individuals in your workforce have been affected by the opioid epidemic.
I know with the restaurant industry, I mean, we are constantly dealing with it, especially in the younger days, because I didn't know what I was looking for. I had no idea what a drug addict looked like, but they go through lengths to go and do drugs at work. We found needles and stuff in our ice machines. It's crazy. I'm pretty blessed now. They know that my stepfather, he's actually the chief of police here in the city of Petersburg. So, you know, I'm just I've got a no drug policy, so we've cleaned it up, but we struggled for the first 3 years. We had tons of drugs in a restaurant, and that's just not the way I was raised, but this is my workforce that I had to choose from, unfortunately. Again, I've came a long way since then, but that was the beginning. But
I will tell you, I just hear this story over and over and over again. We can't get somebody because they can't pass a drug test. If you look at what's happening at our southern border, ladies and gentlemen, we are being invaded by drug cartels, and we are allowing that ourselves, and it is killing our nation in so many different ways. Not only people actually dying, but we're killing our workforce because we're addicting other individuals. I'm over my time. Again, thank you so much for your stories. They meant a great deal, and don't give up the fight. We are the greatest country on earth despite our bumps and bruises, and thank you for your work. With that.